Hey everyone! Today we are going to be teaching our 4-year-old friends about friendship. As well as we have our friend Toad here to help us. Say hi, Toad. Hi. What are some things that you all know about friends? What are some things that you do with your friends? So today, Frog is going to help me read a story to you all about friends. So what do you all see on the front cover? What do you all think the book is going to be about? Frog and Toad are friends. Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the door. Knock, knock. There was no answer. Toad, Toad, shouted Frog. Wake up. It is spring. Blah, said a voice from the inside of the house. Toad, Toad, cried Frog. The sun is shining. The snow is melting. Wake up. I am not here, said the voice. I'm not here. That's how he sounded, you guys. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. Toad, where are you? Called Frog. Go away, said the voice from the corner of the room. Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. He pushed Toad out of bed. He pushed him out of the house and onto the front porch. That's not nice. Why is Toad being so mean to Frog? Toad blinked in the bright sun. Help, said Toad. I cannot see anything. Don't be silly, said Frog. What you see is the clear, warm light of April, and it means that we could begin a whole new year together. Toad, think of it, said Frog. We would skip through the meadows, run through the woods, and swim in the river. In the evening, we would sit right here on this porch and count the stars. You cannot count. You can count them, Frog, said Toad. I will be too tired. I'm going back to bed. Why do you all think Toad is so tired? He should be out having fun, right? With his friend Frog, like Frog wants him to, right? Let's see. Toad went back into the house, got into bed, and pulled the covers over his head again. But Toad, cried Frog, you will miss all the fun. Listen, Frog, said Toad. How long have I been asleep? You've been asleep since November, said Frog. Well then, said Toad, a little more sleep would not hurt. Come back again and wake me up at about 1/2 May. Good night. But Toad, said Frog, I would be lonely until then. Toad did not answer. Frog looked at Toad's calendar. The November page was still on top. Frog tore off the November page. He tore off the December page and the January page and the February page and the March page. He came to the April page. Frog tore off the April page too. What do you all think he's going to do with the pages on the calendar? Why do you think he's tearing off the pages on the calendar? Then Frog ran back to Toad's bed. Toad, Toad, wake up. It is May now. What? Said Toad. Can it be May so soon? Yes, said Frog. Look at your calendar. Toad looked at the calendar. The May page was on top. They found May. Why is it May? Said Toad as he climbed out of bed. Then he and Frog ran outside to see how the world was looking into the spring. One day in summer, Frog was not feeling well, Toad said. Frog, you are looking quite green, but I always look green, said Frog. I am a frog. Today you look very green. Why do you all think Toad look very green? Do you know, Toad, why you look very green in the story? Toad said he doesn't know. Get into my bed and rest. Toad made Frog a cup of tea. Frog drank the tea and then he said, tell me a story while I'm resting. All right, said Toad. Let me think of a story to tell you. Toad thought and thought, but he could not think of a story to tell Frog. I will go out on the front porch and walk up and down, said Toad. Perhaps that would help me think of a story. Toad walked up and down on the porch for a long time, but he could not think of a story to tell Frog. Then Toad went into the house and stood on his bed. Why are you standing on your head? That's silly, right? He's standing on his head. Why do you all think Toad is standing on his head? I hope that if I stand on my head, it'll help me think of a story. Do you all think by Toad standing on his head, it will help him think of a story? Or do you think that would hurt his head? Toad stood on his head for a long time, but he could not think of a story to tell Frog. It didn't work. Toad poured a glass of water over his head. Do you think him pouring a glass of water over his head will help him think of a story? Let's see. Why are you pouring water over your head, asked Frog. I hope that if I pour water over my head, it'll help me think of a story, said Toad. Toad poured many glasses of water over his head, but he could not think of a story to tell Frog. Then Toad began to bang his head against the wall. He's silly. Why? That's gonna hurt him. Right, guys? It's not gonna help. And then his head is gonna be hurting. Do you all think he's gonna have a mark on his head? Why are you banging your head against the wall? Asked Frog. I hope that if I bang my head against the wall hard enough, it will help me think of a story. It did not work. Now Toad is dizzy. I am feeling much better now, Toad, said Frog. I don't think I need a story anymore. Then you get out of bed and let me get into it, said Toad, because now I feel terrible. Frog said, would you like me to tell you a story, Toad? Yes, said Toad, if you know one. Now Toad has to get into the bed, and Frog is feeling better because Toad hurt his head. Once upon a time, said Frog, there were two good friends, a frog and a toad. The frog was not feeling well. He asked his friend, the toad, to tell him a story. The toad could not think of a story. He walked up and down on the front porch, but he could not think of a story. He stood on his head, but he just not could think of a story. He poured water on his head, but he could not think of a story. He banged his head against the wall, but he still couldn't think of a story. Then the toad did not feel so well, and the frog was feeling better, so the toad went to bed, and the frog got up and told him a story. The end. How was that, Toad? Said Frog. But Toad did not answer. He had fallen asleep. The end. Did everyone like the story? So, we all know that you banging your head against the wall is not going to help you think of a story. You pouring water on your head is not going to help you think of a story. It's just, you just think of a story to help your friend. Do you all think that Toad was a good friend in the story to Frog? I think he was. What are some things that you love about your friend? What are some things you like to do with your friend? Do your friend make you feel sad? If so, how? And how do they make you feel better? Have you gotten into trouble and needed help with a game, and did your friend help you? Well, what type of game did you all play? Do your friend make you happy? Can you all answer them questions for me? Then we will do our activity. So this is what we're going to do. Everyone is going to get some green paper with scissors, eyeballs, and a black crayon. And you're going to cut out your frog and put them together. And put the eyes and make the face. You could draw them how you want to, anything. And then, when you all are done, or while you're making your frog, think of some ways you could talk to your neighbor in a nice way. Think of a memory that you and your friend had while you're making your frog. When you're done, the memory that you made with your friend, you could either ask me to help you write it down, or you could draw out a scene or picture of you and your friend or something that you all did together that was fun, as well as that you liked. So, then we're going to glue these together, and I'm going to write the title, and then I'm going to hang it up on the wall. Make sure you all be nice and creative, okay? And then we're going to go over our words. Our words, our vocabulary that we learned throughout the story. We're going to do a word wall. So I'm going to write out the words on cards as well as put the definition next to it. When I call out your name, you're going to match the definition next to the word. Okay? Alrighty.